we have been talking about scams and the fraud in many of the nationalized banks. Now it has not stopped. It has crossed the border of this nationalized bank, and we are also getting into many commercial banks. As a chairman of the Standing Committee on Finance, we have already given report on the NPA, suggested measures how to contain it, because it's galloping every day, not every year. And from 2% when the UPA 2 left the government, now it has already come to 10. Of course, it is marching forward in a galloping speed. But none of these suggestions which we gave it in the committee, under our report, which was a unanimous report, action has been taken by this government. And the manner in which they appoint the managing directors, the chairmen of the banks, to the nationalized banks, totally on discretion of the government in power, without actually looking into the professional integrity of any of this, further it augmenting the problems year by year, day by day. But government or Sri Narendra Modi, who speaks about corruption, it doesn't raise a finger, not even a single voice against this scam or the fraud which is happening. Here is a case of his own minister. Our senior colleague has already said that, this is most scandalous, never happened, the glaring of everybody. Here the loan is given for the defaulter, that to unsecured loan. We'll circulate some material on that. I'm not going to tell you, but I'm telling you, added to that, matter comes up before the NCLT. I know these NCLTs has been created by UPA 2. Of course, I was Corporate Affairs Minister. And, we came out with the ideal, the Companies Act. Of course, the now attempts are done day by day. Even today, I found newspaper that attempts are done to dilute that company law. And here, in November 23rd, 2017, the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Amending Act 2007 came into force. Section 29A of the Act prohibits a promoter from submitting any bids for a company before NCLT. They allowed to permit flagrant violation of the company law. And more than that, here is a case. A company becomes CD Industries Limited, was declared, sick. And, they approach the NCLT and they get a haircut to the extent of 65%. Haircut for a 65%. Then what happens?
Loan waiver.
Loan waiver means haircut. 65%.
Haircut is through technical.
And yes, correct. You are right. Haircut
is only the BJP can afford haircut of that amount. We give 2 rupees for haircut.
Yeah, 65%. This means to say that they can walk away with everything because he's a minister. He was a chairman, permanent director on the board, but his spouse and his closest friends, they continue to have it. There's a continuity in the management of it. And they get a haircut. That does, but how can you believe on the credibility of the NCLT? NCLT itself has come to cloud. That is why we are asking for a judicial inquiry headed by sitting Supreme Court judge, because the NCLT is involved. NCLT gave a haircut or whatever loan waiver to the extent of 65%. And the promoter is allowed to submit the bids. And not one question, there are several questions will arise. Number one, is it not clear-cut case of conflict of interest and impropriety on the part of Union Minister Sri Piyush Goyal, who is a power minister, because he is powerful. And now, just because they are not interested, even after 3.5, 4 years, they are not interested to bring about Lokpal Act. Lokpal institution doesn't come into existence. They are delaying it. They know it because, they want these 5 years to be completed. They can swindle the entire country, swindle all the banks, and, go free. And, 2019, they know very well that, they will not come back to power. And here, UPA, all these cases should have been handled by the Lokpal. Just taking advantage of the absence of a Lokpal here, they do everything. Bankers, ombudsman, the regulators, you all know that even the CAG raised the objection today that RBI as a regulator is not managing things. They are not conducting even audit, which is required under law. They do not do that. So next question is, did Union Minister Piyush Goyal declare his status as chairman or old-time director of Shirdi Industries in the light of the fact loans worth rupees 258.62 crore were raised from UBI consortium during his tenure and company became sick on 8/6/2015. Mark the word 2015 during NDA regime. Why did Sri Piyush Goyal not declare his loan in his public filing available on PM website? Criminal suppression of facts. Then the third question is that it is a public money. Why did Shirdi Industries Limited, through its sister company, Assis Industries, extend an unsecured loan of rupees 1.59 crore to Srimati Seema Goyal's Intercom Advisors Private Limited in 2015-16? Although Shirdi Industries Limited had defaulted on its own loans on 8/6/2015, why did Sri Piyush Goyal not declare this loan in his public filing? What is the fourth question will be? What is the special relationship between Sri Piyush Goyal and family on the one hand and Sri Rakesh Agarwal and Sri Mukesh Bansal on the other hand? Are they not connected through a web of companies? Be it Shirdi Industries Limited, Pradeep Metals Limited, Sajal Finance Investment Limited, Private Limited, who are the other players? Who are business associates of Sri Piyush Goyal of their business interests and connections? Last question. Why did consortium of banks, namely Union Bank of India, SBI, UBI, Bank of India, Indian Bank, and Standard Chartered Bank take a haircut, that is a loan waiver, of nearly 65% on this outstanding loan amount of rupees 651.87 crore of Shirdi Industries Limited of Rakesh Agarwal and Mukesh Bansal? How was a promoter permitted to bid for company despite the prohibition under insolvency code? Was the consortium of banks influenced in any manner to accept 65% haircut or the loan waiver? That means the ministers are, whether they suffer, they enjoy the immunity under law. The total transgression of law. NCLT, which has to decide thousands of crores of the various entities, can it be believed? Can it be entrusted with this kind of a delicate job? They can knock away thousands of crores. Already 61,000 under about 11 banks are under cloud. Scams have been happening. And a number of big companies are going to the NCLT with confidence. With confidence that they get the loan waiver. I think we are in for a big problem. All these national banks which has been built by the Congress party, very strong. Even under the world economic recession during 2008 and 9, they survived. Not even a single bank collapsed. That is because of the strength with which the public sector banks have been built. We know very well the intention, bad motive on the part of the present government to denationalize the banks. And already former Niti Ayog chairman, Mr. Panigrahi, has already come out saying that it has to be denationalized. Is it to denationalize or liquidate? The trust is being lost with the people, with these banks. No attempts whatsoever is made to rebuild that. I have also a few other cases of the banks committing scams, which we will consider at the next time. The SBI again is in the picture. The biggest bank, enjoying the highest credibility. And that has also lent loan to a company where that director, one of the directors of that company is this, if I am correct, that this is what is his name? PMO's General Secretary? No, that's another case I'm telling you.
That secretary he was also the director.
Yeah. Also the director, Usha, that is Usha Martin Company.
Yeah.
There are several things, we reel out one by one. Today we will confine to the Piyush Goyal. That is SBI fraud is connected with the principal secretary of the Prime Minister, who just retired, from the company and became a principal secretary. And he was the company, and how that was done, just to repay the loan. Just to repay his previous loan, SBI very liberally grants loans, just because of the influence of that, we will come out with the facts, not today. But I'm telling you, like that, one by one, the scam is reeling out. To liquidate the banks, the banks with which the people of this country have absolute faith, trust, that edifice of trust itself is being, under threat and assault, but because of the policy of this government. So I don't know, how long they would. I think within 1 year they may swindle the banks, either denationalize it. Even the private banks are collapsing. Private banks which are thought that the very stable edifice of the banking system in the country, they are also at the because of the infection which is set in by the wrong policies of this government. So it's a very serious matter, and it involves the collapse of many of the institutions like NCLT. And sanctified institution, that itself under attack. And this needs not the mere clarification, but needs a judicial scrutiny by a sitting judge of the Supreme Court of India, so that the institutions are under attack, banks are under attack, NCLT under attack, and all those systems, they are already demolished. One greatest institution like Planning Commission today, and the planning process itself has become a joke today. And there is a difference like the South Korea and the North Korea. South Korea is progressing because they have preserved the institutions of democracy. North Korea is collapsing. That is because they could not preserve, they destroyed all the institutions. I'm sorry to draw an attention of the North Korea and India today. That is because we are on that way of anarchy and demolishing all democratic institutions, or how the parliament is running today. Prime Minister has no interest to settle the matter. His own colleagues are telling he is not interested in resolving the matters. Parliament itself, directly or indirectly, is under attack from the present government. So that's why there are many big scams, and they are silly, and Prime Minister has no voice to raise. He has no hands to raise against these atrocities committed on our biggest sanctified, institutions of banking.